We're not going to get paralytic drunk and smoke.
And more
cigarette.
kind of like illicit drug, and because it is so cheap over there, like anything you want, they were just throwing that at us. Like
They were.
Really?
yeah.
Look at them, they're salivating already.
Yeah, the memories.
See what we have to put up with?
Please.
At one point,
You weren't saying no.
we had so much that we had to get rid of it all before we went on a plane, and we had to go on a, I don't know, let's call it a bender, just to finish it all off. It took 4 days.
Damn. Yeah, my mates, well, the band I was in Sydney, Bull Rush, Grant Fitzpatrick's the bass
that's
player.
right. God.
He's the bass player in the Cult right now.
Oh, really?
The last 4 months. He's their
Jesus.
announced new bass player in the Cult. Is that my old
God.
bass? Oh, there's a picture somewhere. But, you know, what a great... We're from Rochdale and Brizzy. Just
How does that
now he's in the Cult.
How does that make you feel now that you're playing in your covers band? Does that make you feel good?
It's so bad. My mate, we were playing in some gig somewhere, and he took a photo. It was the night he was announced as he was the Cult bass player. And I'm doing a cover band gig somewhere, and he took a video of our band, and 2 old people waltzed into frame.
Yes. Covers band style.
You know, you get all types.
Rexy and I've
pretty
mastered the
weird people at the original
RSL
gigs,
club
though.
dancing routine.
Oh, yeah, I've studied these people.
I take the male lead. I grew up in Campbelltown in
Wow,
Sydney, which
yeah.
is...
Went to the Lone Star there back in the day.
That's pretty much all that's
all I've got.
there. Yeah, and there's a Hogs Break Cafe as well, so they're doing pretty well. Yeah, so I grew up there, so I'm very familiar with that horrible covers band RSL dancing style. And
Do you know, picture this, you know women in their 50s who are suddenly single for the first time in their lives?
Yes,
Yeah,
very
those
well.
ones- so they're wearing jeans right up real high.
Love it.
And they've got their shirt tucked in.
Stonewashed.
Yep,
And
fake boobs.
heels that they can't walk in, but they're committed to staying in all night.
Mum, come home. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they dance, and it's great.
Well,
Mum,
okay,
can we leave now?
I got off the topic. What I was getting at is he's been in
You
LA.
wanted a tangent, you
He's
got
been
one.
in LA for 7 years, and his mates tell him that you can get Coke for like $30 delivered by the hooker and a pizza. You know, it's a completely and
whole
we're all
other
like,
Netflix
what?
and chill level.
Yeah, all sorts of. So
That's what I've heard about, like
You
the
know,
Rainbow Bar
cocaine.
and stuff as well. You just order it over the bar, and it's cheaper than buying a drink sometimes. Like,
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it
Crazy,
was a hard
but as
tour.
people, I think Aussies are more like more actually wilder and more.
Probably because
everyone keeps telling us we can't do anything.
Restrictions on them,
Can't
Yeah,
do
so when
this,
you-
We are very loud, though. We're
Yeah.
much rowdier.
It's as if nothing
Don't know
bad
there,
could
I
happen
think.
to us tonight. Let's get on it.
Europeans,
Yeah.
I find, are pretty wild, but they're not as in your face. So tend to stay out of people's way a bit more.
It's in their blood longer. We're all convicts and don't know how to handle it or something like that.
Hi, Mum.
We're all
This is Lara talking.
spoiled brats.
Lara wants you to know that we got to day 26 of the tour before we realised we ran out of drugs for the first time. Thanks, Mum. This was Lara.
P.S. Say no to drugs.
Yeah.
Never seen.
Tell me
No,
more.
yes, no.
You know what's? I want to ask you now because you're on the Gold. Hey, welcome to Gold Coast.
Thank
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the hottest day ever.
Yeah, it's pretty warm, eh?
bloody
Yeah, it's
fucking
really hot.
awful.
It's horribly hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I lived in Surfers Paradise for 7 years. When I last saw you, Jess,
Yeah,
I
when
left.
was it?
98. Yeah, moved to Surfers Paradise and lived there for 7 years, and I got
That's
such a kick.
I was in primary school, just letting you know.
Damn, these
I should
kids.
have been.
I was in year 4.
Was it your place we stayed at where certain band members went through your flatmate's stuff?
No,
I know, it must have been someone else's house.
no.
Doesn't matter.
Deny.
But you guys.
It wasn't me, I was just watching.
I'll tell you a funny story, right? So we did that tour, you know, and I looked. This is for a Nitocris tour that went up to Brisbane, Sunny Coast and back. And I'm like, yeah, me and 6 chicks, you know. And I thought, yeah,
After
I'm going to
2
sleep
hours,
with
you
all of them.
regretted
It's
it.
going to be awesome. Yeah, dude, high five, right? And I remember we got to, you know what it's like. It's all work.
Yeah.
It's all travel and work.
Yeah.
And we got to Sunshine Coast the very last night, and I was done. I remember Andy, the drummer in the band, she goes, come on, dude, tonight we party. It's the end now. And we got back to the room, and I just, as I'm falling asleep, Jess, you were getting the fire hose off the off the outside hotel, and you're like hosing the rooms. I couldn't believe it. And
Really?
every night with you guys, it was like proper rock and roll.
It was bad. We got barred for life from every hotel in
Yeah.
Brisbane at one point. It took 2 years to live it down. I got stuck in a
Bravo.
doorway with an ironing board when I was trying to run, and I got stuck, and I go bang, 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 bang. So I can see security coming up the hallway like, fuck, you can't get out.
It's like a cartoon.
We got thrown out. Someone left all their pot in the hotel room, and I had to go back, and I had to lie to the concierge. I told him it was my blanket up there. I'm like, it's my blanket. My dad gave it to me. You have to let me go get it. They let me back up.
Yeah.
Stash, and walked out with a pretend blanket.
Comes back with no blanket.
A blanket from the hotel. I just took the hotel.
Giant
My thanks.
bud-looking blanket.
I call him Stinky.
It was in a body board a body board
That's where it went.
That's what we're
That's
gonna
where it
call
went.
our
A
tour,
body
remember?
board bag.
Going home in a
You could
body
still ring
bag
Chappelle.
tour.
You might get it back. Hey,
Yeah, I wonder if she needs a job. We need a driver.
To a manager.
yeah, you guys were
Personal
wild.
assistant.
It was
Just
a
don't let
wild
it pack
time,
for
but
you.
hey, think of it. Like Facebook and everything has ruined your rock and rollness, hasn't it? Like
Has it?
Hasn't
Well-
ruined mine.
Hey, if I wanted to go play up, we do a gig 3 hours away, and I'm married, but hey, I'm a rock and roller, right? And I've said this 100 times before. I found myself in Dalby, 3 hours away. We're staying the night in this old hotel. I was getting some attention, right? Hey?
From the ladies.
It was all working out on this night.
In Dolby.
But it's like
What's the quality of the ladies
Hey.
we're talking about?
I was a man from another town.
How many teeth were missing?
50, recently divorced,
Oh,
hygiene.
hey, they were not. They were
Fine
They weren't
dancer.
good.
There was no teeth at
Killing it
all.
on the DM.
You're like,
It's
perfect.
not good.
Ah,
It's not
no
good.
tea.
Teethless women, my favourite.
But it was
How
a long
does
way
this
away. Well, I've thought
Happy,
about it
no
100
doubt.
times before. You know, you can't. No matter where you are, even in the world with Facebook, if you want to play up as a rock and roller,
you can't do
if you want to do anything, if you want to hose
I'm
people
so
in.
glad that I got to live like that. Like, I don't care anymore anyway, but I'm glad that I had that time to be just mad, and you just don't regret anything because you don't remember. No one cares.
no evidence.
Then
Yeah.
there's always somebody the next week who's even worse than you.
Yep.
So no one cares.
That was
but-
my rule on tour. Like, I don't think I stuck by it every night, but so long as someone else is more fucked than you, you're fine. Because
That's your
they're-
rule. That's your rule with life, man.
yeah,
That's your rule
that's
with
my,
life.
if you go out for like a work drinks on a Thursday night and they're like, make sure you come to work on time. Just make sure someone's more drunk than you because you know that they will be late. And
Or
you're
just
fine.
stay away for long enough for somebody else to do something.
Yeah,
that's
Jazz
my rule.
was pretty
Oh,
bad.
Jazz was pretty bad. We had a friend of mine come with us on the tour, and she went missing in the first night. She was there for, 45 minutes in Manchester. We were staying at this friend of ours, Steve, who booked some of the gigs, was staying at his place, and Jess and Jazz arrived a couple of days later, a week later, into England, and she arrived and she went out for curry in Hyde,
Curry.
which is like population fucking 120 or something, and never come back. She was gone for like 5 hours.
Tell 'em how you
Jess
went
was
and looked for
waiting
them.
for the curry. Lara and I
Just travelled for like over a day,
she was so
and
jet
she was going to
lagged.
go
She
and
was
get
so
curry
jet
for me,
lagged,
and then,
she'd been drinking. So we're like, we can't have her walking around in Hyde. So me and Lara have to get in the car with Steve, go to every pub in Hyde.
Wow.
Didn't take long. After the fourth pub, we get to the fourth pub. We're like, have you seen a loud Australian? Yo, she went
With
that
a curry,
way.
with a couple of curries.
And this woman was literally like that. Yeah, she went that way.
As
She went
soon as
that
we
way.
said
And so
it.
we ran out of the pub, ran down to the next one. She just got really drunk with a bunch of local dudes. And
Played
the
darts
the best part was she made it back to the house. I don't know how before us. And when we got there, she was absolutely barely conscious, holding about a
fucking
mouthful
delusional.
of curry and was yelling at Jess because Jess was mad at her and she was getting defensive saying, well, I got your curry, didn't I?
Well, good, you're cool, you know.
Yeah. A mouthful of it. It was just...
That's my curry.
She brought back a curry about this big for of all six of us.
And then she slammed it on the bench and spilled it all anyway.
Funny.
This one's for you.
Go
Jazz.
Australia.
Yeah, Jazz, this one's for
Go
you.
Australia.
But she did other things that were good, like film. She did some good things. She filmed
Yeah,
the
she
whole
started
thing.
on a rocky start, though. She's a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, why
She did take
was
one
so
for the team
angry.
every time and sleep in the kitchen.
Yeah?
And there wasn't enough beds,
Really?
so that was nice.
Excellent.
Thanks, Jazz.
Yeah.
She's also responsible for filming the whole tour. So any footage that you see
Photographing
coming out
it,
of that,
yeah. She was
Yeah.
great, and she sold merch for us, and she looked after us, and she
Yeah. She was highly entertaining.
distracted certain people away from us. Yeah.
I did follow that. That was actually really. Hey, look at me. My whole life's Facebook. So watching you guys go around Europe, that was pretty cool to watch. It genuinely was.
it was
It was
cool
a
to be
great
there.
thing to watch.
It was
like,
pretty funny.
you know,
It's still a bit like a dream now.
yeah.
My mum didn't say the same thing. I had to block where she saw because I was never. I never woke up early enough to clear it from the night before, and there was Mum wasn't too impressed. But
One thing that came up though, it's like everyone thinks we're rich. Like people kept asking us if, who's giving us all the money. And then when I got back, I've got friends who were like, oh, did you get some inheritance or something?
What?
Like, how did you afford to do that? I was like, we're all in debt, like now, like we all paid
Yeah,
for
we're
it.
like
no.
rock and
Everyone's got
rollers
this
too. Like,
None of us
Conception.
have got anything. We're
That-
driving my mother's car up to Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're loaded.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well,
oh, well, you've
P.S.
got to
None
put
of
your
us are
money
at work
in your
today,
dreams,
and
I
it is a
say.
work day.
you would know this, Jess. Do you remember the
I
time?
wouldn't change it for anything. I don't have any regrets about it.
Good.
I'm happy I'm poor.
Good. Good. I had a
It's worth
surfboard
it.
shaper here the other day, an absolute legend, like a 60s guy that started surfing on the surf, making the surfboards we all make, right? Tony Dempsey. And he's got no money, but he's a legend. Everyone
And he's
respects
happy.
him.
I bet he's having a ball.
Yeah, but it's just the things that you get hooked on, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Actually,
If
but
you
you would
did it to
remember.
make money, you wouldn't like. That's not a good kind of.
If you want
No.
to make money, being in an
Yeah, it was-
original
No, it's
band
not.
is
It's,
fun.
if you join a band to try and just be famous and make money, that's not
You
the right.
become Nickelback.
You're going to be miserable.
You're Trad Kroger looking
You're in
around.
it for the wrong reason.
Or you join a covers band.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Concept
with
band
most,
now. Concept bands are
with
in.
most things in
Again.
life, if your goal is to be rich and famous, you're probably going to be miserable because there's no guarantee in anything.
Yeah. I bet, and they'd all trade for your stories, I bet.
Oh fuck yeah!
But what I was going to say is,
like I said, I don't have any regrets about it at all.
no. But do you
It's worth
remember?
it, very
Do you remember
much.
back in the day? We kind of knew the same people. I remember going to Brent Eccles' place a lot from
Yeah.
the drummer from the Angels. Kick-ass, huge house.
We'd
like-
all rock up. Hey man,
Yeah.
got any beer?
Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does. But there was actual rock and rollers you knew that had money.
Yeah,
Like, there were,
in the days when people
and like
bought
roadies, there were
CDs and-
roadies about. Like it was a real job, and
Yeah.
like trucking companies that would deliver all this big PA crap.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone there anymore. No.
Nah. Well, I mean, people don't really buy CDs anymore. It's part of the problem. You can still get by if you're smart about it, and you can't tour like we used to though. It's just not possible.
Right.
Remember what it used to be like?
Yeah.
The 40 days in a row.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't hear of it now.
No.
It's just crazy, and you wouldn't. I don't really see the point. Like,
Yeah.
rather go do small things and do it properly than.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Going back to what we were talking about with partying and stuff, it would be more like, oh my God, I heard this story about Nitocris. They're coming to our town. It's not like you couldn't look them up on Twitter
Oh,
and
thank
this crap.
God for that.
Yeah, you couldn't actually
Thank
find.
God.
The only is the stories you heard about these bands. Like they are so full on, and they're coming to our town. Like
And the story gets worse and worse as the years
Yeah.
go by before it's
The
not
one
actually
positive
even
thing, though,
true.
about I think in our age with social media is that Kanye West has Twitter,
yeah, oh yeah.
and it's
Is that
a
a
train
positive?
wreck. Oh, you need to look at his recent
I don't
tweets.
wanna look
He
at
asked
it.
Mark Zuckerberg for $53 million because he's poor on Twitter. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
And if it's a marketing
someone-
ploy, I
Yeah.
commend.
but-
Being
it's
serious.
Someone made a crowdfunding thing
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Kanye West to get $53 million. It's up to $35.
35 cents.
It's so good.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
That is good.
I love it.
So
Oh dear.
now, where are you going? Where were you in Katoomba last?
Last weekend, yeah.
Where's that?
It's
mountain.
kind of
Top of the Blue Mountains.
West,
Yeah, right,
Northwest,
okay.
yeah. It was good. It was a
Yeah?
good gig. It was cool.
You been there lately?
We were there last week.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
We've
we
never played there
played there a
before.
few months before.
Did you?
Not this, different venue.
Yeah,
but-
last we played at the RSL.
Right. So, on the Gold Coast here, there's bugger all live gigs. Original.
It used to be different.
Is that because the hotels keep shutting down when we get here?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons.
It's like that everywhere, though, except with the exception of probably Melbourne.
Yeah.
Places
Okay.
closing down.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I see some band like the Smith Street Band, they're doing some gig in Melbourne.